Hello, everybody. We're going to get started momentarily, just waiting for some people to filter in. Say hi in the chat, and I will say hi as well. I'll be the first person. Say hi. I'll do a little shout out, and we'll get started momentarily once enough people have been able to join. Just a regular UI, UX review show today. Derek, hello. Not quite an active chat as usual. Here we go. Body, what's up? Not many views. What is going on? What's everybody doing? Red Mango, Apple, what's up? We already do have a number of submissions. Rohan, what's up? Coder, Addy, what's up? Zelko, I think? I have no clue. How is the stream messed up? Yes, you're free to submit. You just have to follow directions in the YouTube description. It's all there. Yeah, and for some reason views are way down. It only says 25 concurrent views right now. I don't know what that is all about. Yeah, YouTube Studio I hated. Like, they have this live interface, and all I did was update the title and description, and for some reason it released a video. Like, I don't know. I hate it. I hate it, though. I can't even do, like, the scheduled live streams anymore because it completely screws up every time. All right. Let's go ahead and introduce today's sponsor, which is porkbun.com. All right, so they've been a sponsor of these live streams in the past, and we've renewed a sponsorship agreement for the next 4 weeks. So the next 4 weeks we're going to be having a live show without any interruption. And basically, you go here, you click on the top link in the description here in this YouTube video. You can get a free .design domain name to showcase your designs. All right, so most of you are designers or front-end developers. .design, awesome name to choose. So a free design domain comes of your choice. Also comes with free Whois privacy, free SSL certificates, a free hosting trial, and a free email trial as well. In addition, Porkbun also offers completely free WordPress hosting and static hosting options. Also free support. So definitely check this out. Take advantage of this offer. Taking advantage of this offer, of course, helps me because then they keep wanting to renew the sponsorship. All right, so let's also introduce the show. For those of you who do not, who've perhaps never seen this this live review, I'll just go over exactly what it is. Basically, you submit your designs, and the way you do that, you look at the YouTube description and you follow the instructions. Basically, it means clicking a link to go to my Discord server, which is a free chat application. When you get there, if you've never joined before, you're going to have to assign a role by clicking one of these reactions right here, and then it will open up all the other channels in which you can then come to the negative space submissions channel and then submit your UI UX design. Preferably it's in the browser, it's ready to go, but you can submit Figma and Adobe XD prototypes, or if you use anything else, you could do that as well. And then I will review it, and I'll give you my opinions, and then we will go ahead and I'll ask the channel to rate it in the live chat from a 1 to 10, and I will give my 1 to 10 rating as well. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, of course. So let's go ahead and get started with the. Oh, also, if you do want to skip waiting, you can click on the super chat icon, and you can give me some money, any amount, and then just mention your Discord username. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The very first submission was Rev Gamer. All right. Rev Gamer. Okay. Oh wait, there's one thing I need to do. I think there's. I wonder if JVS is on to do that. Some type of throttling thing needs like fixed or adjusted. I forget how to do that. Hopefully they're listening. Let's just go ahead and get started. All right. All right. I'm Yazan Olabi. Okay, a full stack web developer, live in Syria. I would take off the live word. Just say a full stack web developer in Syria or from Syria. All right. Let's go ahead. Okay, so there's a couple issues here. First of all, the nav bar being situated right at the very bottom. I know it's fun to be unique sometimes and do things differently, but it's kind of an afterthought. It's almost like a footer when you put it that way. And you want to push that thing back to the top, all right? Because it's a navigation people want to see. It's important stuff because you have the home, you have the skills, and you have the projects. These are the things that people want. Secondary to that, lack of good call to action. A social nav like you have here isn't really what I would consider a great primary call to action. You need a primary call to action. These can be secondary. And so what people will probably want to see is a big button that says view my projects or something like that. So who's mentioning me? Oh, okay. I'll move that off screen for a second. So you definitely want to have a primary call to action. And then also, there's not much happening here in the way of a layout, like a fully structured layout. This is just, I would say, a little bit too simple and plain. You can really make better use of all the space that you have available here. So definitely, let's just check out the projects button real quick to see what the work looks like. I would have that come in quicker. Also, for some reason, I don't know what's happening here. It looks like there's some type of weird animation. It's throwing me off. I wouldn't have any animation like this by default. If people want to scroll down themselves and view it, they'll do it. Also, I've talked about this in the past, but when it comes to the rating bars for trying to rate your skill levels, I wouldn't do that. Just say, you could put, what it is that you're proficient at and maybe how long you've been doing it. But I wouldn't put a progress bar because they're going to look and they might see somebody that needs, they might need assembly, but then you only put 35% on it and you're just kind of like hurting yourself by doing that. All right, let's go ahead and rate this. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what you think. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one, oh, and also, when it comes to rating, please don't spam. Don't do that. Or I'll put you in a timeout. Yeah, don't do that. Only 1 rating per person. We don't need that. Oh my God. Stop that. Man in chow out. Stop that. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating of, let's see here, 4. Yep. I think that's pretty much what I would give this rating. Looks like it's coming in under a little bit under what you guys are doing. Thank you for the submission. Keep up with it. Let's go back to the chat here and we'll get the next one. All right. All right, next up in line. Well, we have a lot already. Okay. A school project. It's mainly for pitching ideas, so it has no animations. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this one. All right. So unfortunately, I can't read anything here. It would be cool if Adobe XD had like a translate option, kind of like you have in the web. But either way, I'm going to scroll down here. All right, so I see one thing that's redundant here. You already have the logo fire up here, and then you have another take on it, like it's different. It says fire right here. That's unnecessary. Remove this logo here, and really, if you're going to have a headline, make it larger and take up that space instead, just because it's redundant now at that point. Alignment's a little bit off. I would take this call to action button and left align it rather than centering it in this position over here. Same thing with this area. When you have two columns, here's a column here, here's a column here. I'm never a big fan of centering the text in one of the columns. I prefer to have it aligned left or right. In this case, I would align it left. There's not much white space between these parts, these large sections, this section right here. And having more white space between your sections of content will really help it just breathe more. It'll look a lot better in the end. The background here, it looks pretty pixelated. The little tiny like 2 or 3 pixel stroke, the black stroke that you have on there, unnecessary. I would get rid of that. Like I said, for this view here, I would definitely increase white space here all around. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get? Five 5.5, 3, 5, 7, 3, 3, 5, 7. For me, I'm gonna give this one another 4. I think we'll give a 4.3 or 4.5 or so. All right, thank you for that submission. Let us continue on my portfolio. Next up, all right. All right. I'll look at a 3D little transition there. All right. I'll be honest. I would probably prefer it look like this on the hover state rather than like this. Just because it stands out a lot more, or at least just take the more about me. Have this one. You can leave this one as being outlined, but make this one by default. Make that one filled because it just stands out a lot more and it reinforces the fact that it's a primary call to action. More about me might make more sense to put like view work instead here. It's my personal opinion that employers care about your work a little bit more than learning more about you. I think that's secondary, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so I would also adjust the alignment of this section over here. So like if I take this, where's this text at? Trying to figure out, well, maybe I can do it right here, like margin top. There we go. So like negative 0.8 M units, and then margin bottom, like 1.5 M units. And then we'll take this type over here. I'm not sure why these are wrapped. Are these two different? Yeah. The markup is incorrect here. I'm not sure what you're using for this, but this H1 this should just be one single H1 element. I'm getting into front-end development stuff though, and I would make that whole H1 bold, although it's looking like we don't have a bold option here. Can we do a font family override like Poppins? No, it's not letting me do that. Oh well, no big deal. I think this needs to be a different type or bolder, a lot bolder for it to stand out more. And then that would be an improvement. Next up after this, I do like this section, although I would say what I do you can either get rid of this or push it up here a little bit more, away from this area, because it's a little bit cluttered. Personally, I think having what I do would be, it's unnecessary. So I just removed that, and now we cleaned up this space a lot more. And I do think probably pushing this up a tad bit would be ideal. Recent projects, looking at this isn't too bad. Coming down here, this little 3-column blip, that works. I'd probably have another call to action at the bottom, just at the bottom, like contact me or get in touch or get a price quote or whatever, rather than just having these two right here. So with that said, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, what do you think this person deserves for a rating? Yep, it looks like a lot of people are rating this around a 6. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's definitely better than the first 2 entries. I'm gonna give this like a 6.6 or so. I think that's pretty fair rating. All right, let us keep improving. All right, here we go. Next up, school project. I really don't want to download an XD file, I'll be honest. If you could resubmit that as something that's shareable via the web, we could do that. That would be better. Sorry. YouTube thumbnails, just a few recent ones would be good. I'm not sure if I don't know what's happening here, but am I rating YouTube thumbnails now? Well, for YouTube thumbnails, I don't know. I mean, some of these I don't like. This is a pretty decent one, the Bootstrap 5. That's pretty decent. But some of these, like this one, for instance, you have a lot of unnecessary stuff in here, like this. You want to simplify your thumbnails a lot more. What else? Yeah, like this right here, the type is pretty bad because you have like 4 different typefaces. You got to simplify it. Stick with 1 really for a YouTube thumbnail, 2 max. Otherwise, it gets way too cluttered. And like for instance, this one, like the type, there's too much type here and it's too small. When it comes to YouTube thumbnail, when people are looking at those tiny thumbnails, like in the recommendations list, they're not going to be able to read this. So you need to significantly reduce the amount of words you're using. So like this one, spread operator, that's a lot better. And then I know must be some sort of logo or something here, but it is kind of distracting. And what is that up there? You won't even be able to see that because it's so small, especially when it's crammed down to a small size in the recommendations list. So those are my critiques on the YouTube thumbnails that I see there. I'm not going to bother rating it because it's not really UI design. All right, you reviewed this website I made for a startup in your previous video, and you suggested some changes, and the site was incomplete, but now it's finished and it's also responsive, so your insight would be appreciated. Okay, let's check it out. All right. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to do a rating for that one. All right, let's refresh this. This had some animation. Speeve. Welcome to the world of faster deliveries. All right, so I don't remember what it looked like before, so I can't really judge if it was an improvement because I completely don't remember at all. One thing I don't like is when it was squished up here, in certain viewports, like right there, like certain widths, we have this broken up into 2 different lines there. So I would, I forget what that text, what is the CSS property for ensuring a line doesn't break up? I forget what that one is, but I would use that in this case. Also, like for instance, we're coming out here, the alignment's a little bit strange. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like no wrap, right? The property value. All right. Yeah. So this one, let's see. You're going to want to push it down a little bit more here. That's a very strange, by the way, markup. We have the button has an H1. So it's like a div with an H1. That's a little strange. But I would take this button, margin top, 3M units. The padding is a little bit excessive. Maybe font size, increase that a little bit. Although if I put font size of 2M units, if for some reason it affects the white space instead, what is happening here? Either way, yeah, I guess on that viewport it should be bigger like this. Let's come down here and look at what's happening. By the way, why is there a big white bar down here? Yeah, this is confusing. I want to do this. If anything, you want to extend this black area all the way down while this stuff is scrolling up. Again, this is stuff, it's just, in my opinion, is too large and in your face, at least on this resolution. Like the overlapping here, I don't like that. I would push that in and or scale this illustration down in terms of the size. Arriving soon. See, it seems like everything is just blown up way too large and way too large and in my face. I would scale a lot of this stuff down. Yeah, way too in my face. All right, what does everybody think this person should get? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Well, see, I think the person, Red Mango Apple, who submitted this is saying that it's my resolution. I am on a 4K resolution. If I come down here to a smaller resolution, we still are kind of facing some of these issues like this. And it still is quite large in my opinion. So I think we still suffer from the same issues, even at smaller viewport resolutions. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a, let's see. Yeah, we're going to give this one like a 5.7. Hopefully that was an improvement over the last one. I don't know what you were rated before. You can let me know what I rated you and see if you actually did improve. Hopefully you did, because I can't remember at all. All right, Elder Ridge. Here's a client website that I've nearly completed. Would love to get some feedback. All righty then. All right, transforming houses to homes. Oh, I didn't rate him last time. Okay. All right, so first gripe, and I have experience in this niche, which is identity design or logo design. Way too small of a headline right here, or the tagline. You can't barely read it. Get rid of it. It doesn't fit up here because it's too hard to read. So I would just get rid of that if you're able to. Maybe you didn't design the logo, but I would make a strong suggestion to the owners that you just get rid of this little blip down there. The rest of this, the navigation here is pretty solid. Don't have a problem with that. This part's not too bad. A good call to action right here. Good white space pretty much overall. I don't like the this text being pretty close to this text in terms of style. I would probably make this a little bit smaller if you decided to keep it. And that way this headline here can stand out more. You can also make this bold. Those are some pretty heavy shadows or outer glows, or the box shadow. I would opt to make those a little bit lighter if you're going to keep them and go that route. Let's see if there's the box shadow. You have at 50%. That's a lot of contrast. Maybe 20% or 10% even. or like 15% would be a lot better and would make it a lot more subtle. These stand out too much in my opinion. Another route you could take is just to use this same background color here, make it here, and then just keep the cards white and then get rid of the shadows. That's another way you could do it. This here, not too bad. What is this font? This is Montserrat and this is Source Sans Pro. I'm not sure if those two, at least how they're styled here, go well together. The typography. I think if you're going to keep those two the same exactly like that, which honestly you could probably just stick with the same typeface, but I would probably make that a little bit smaller. That's a little bit better. That way you kind of reinforce the visual hierarchy between those two elements. But then I would also make sure these two text elements are centered vertically within this blue container. All right, rest of this isn't too bad. All right, what do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the very best. Let's check out responsiveness. The hover state I would just keep as being white, not black when hovering. Yeah, so for me, I'm going to give this a not quite a 7, but maybe like a 6.8. Yeah. All right. Next up, let's see here. My first design project. Oh my. Our first design project. Well, what? Okay, so this is just a. Let me go back here. Wait, what happened here? I want to make sure. Okay, we'll stick with this page instead. All right. UI UX concept. Honestly, if this is your first design project, I mean, it's really freaking solid in my opinion. For somebody's first design project, I mean, I like that it's very unique. Let's look at this page up here. It looked like kind of like what would be the home page. Yeah, this is really solid. I mean, like I said, if this is your first design project, I can't really say anything too bad about it. For what it is, it's trying to be trendy, and so I could say a stronger call to action, which would still work if you did it right. But yeah, this is all pretty solid. Unfortunately, when it comes to Behance, you don't even have the prototyping as well, so you just have kind of like, you know, your JPEG or your PNG mockups, and so it makes it a little bit hard to judge certain things. In the context of it being in the browser. But having said that, let's go ahead and rate this, or let's check this out. Oh, okay, there we go. Here's the actual preview of the site. Yeah, I have to say, pretty good. Very nice. All right, awesome. Let's rate that. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I don't really have too many negative things to say, especially if it is true that it's your first design project. Let's check this person's account. Well, it is. Very good. All right, for me, I'm going to give this one a 7.7 or so. Yeah. All right. Very good. All right. How long have we been streaming here? 30 minutes. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and mention the sponsor of this live stream and the next 3 live streams thereafter, which is Porkbun. And you can grab a free design, a .design domain name today to showcase your designs by clicking the top link in the YouTube description here. So a free design domain of your choice also comes with free Whois privacy, free SSL certificates, a free hosting trial, and free email trial. In addition, Porkbun now offers completely free WordPress hosting and static hosting options. So this is an awesome value, obviously, a free .design domain, because it's going to be relevant to many of you, of course, who are designers, UI, UX designers, and front-end developers as well. Plus, you get awesome free support as well. So definitely check out that offer. Next up, here's a work in progress project of mine. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Okay. Animator Supporters. I don't know what that means exactly. I think maybe a stronger headline, ad copy would make a little bit, would make more sense there, because this doesn't really tell me what Animator Supporters is. It says Animator Dormitory. Oh, okay. So this is like some sort of a site that will aggregate or collect these various links, basically, of individuals looking for funding or support. So I would definitely use a better headline to demonstrate exactly what this site is. So that's one thing I would fix. In terms of the design overall, I'm not sure about this area. I mean, it's simple: social and contact us. Also, I'm not sure that this makes sense about Animator Supporters. So you're styling this the same as all these other links, when contextually this is a different idea. Let me stop that. And so what I would do is probably take this whole section, this whole block right here, and just put type here. If this is the name of this is Animator Supporters, get an actual logo, scale down the size of it, and then use this whole blank area right here as an area where, yeah, like this, an area where you have a headline along with a description about you, and about what this is, the whole purpose is, and then you just keep these the same. I think that makes sense. All right, so let me know what you think, everybody, about this. 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Here's the original, of course. I mean, it is very simple. There's not like any huge issues in terms of UI design fundamentals being broken. But having said that, because it is, it did kind of confuse me, I think I'm just going to have to go around actually like a 5.8 to a 6 or so. Yeah. All right. We did have a super chat from Dennis. Thank you very much for that. Let's see if I can find this person. We'll go to here, and then we'll search here. By the way, what's everybody thinking about Bitcoin right now? Why is this person? Why am I not able to find them? There we are. Yeah, what's going on with Bitcoin? $41,000. That is insane. All right. It's gonna crash, but there's some people think it's gonna go over 100,000 before the end of the year, which could very well happen. All right. Anyhow, all right. Let's see. Dennis Krasnov, skills, blah blah blah. This is a pretty fixed short container going from here to here. When we have this, I mean, I would probably extend it a little bit further on each side. That's a small gripe, though. One thing I'm not a fan of is how this is cut off abruptly here. It makes you think that there's a container here and then there's another one here. If you can, well, and you definitely could, maybe align this in such a way that the bottom of the shoulder area rests right on this container right here. Also, a little bit of issue with visual hierarchy, because we look at how thick and bold the weight of this type of the name here, but then we see this right here. While it is larger, it's not quite as bold. So I think we need to reinforce that hierarchy by making this font weight bold. All right, now that's better. Now it's a little strange because this is in the blue and then this is bold. I would scale down the size of this logo a little bit just to further reinforce that visual hierarchy. View projects. Yeah, this isn't bad. A little strange to use the red danger color, so to speak, but that, I mean, because just subconsciously, or the psychology of colors, people will sometimes refer to this and think of danger or red. It's not a huge deal, but something to consider. Too many things are bold right here. There's when you mix in a lot of bold type, you run into issues of clutter and inconsistency. I would, in order to make this a lot simpler, get rid of everything that's bold. Or if you are going to use something bold, only use it like one word per blip right here. There's just too many things happening. And it screws up the visual hierarchy as well, because then the bold right here kind of competes right here with the little subtitles. Testimonials, kind of really large. What is that? Is that not text? Okay, it is text. I just wasn't able to select it. It must be user select none. That's why. Okay. I was hoping that wasn't pictures, like a PNG of text. And a little bit cluttered here and a little bit confusing as well. Like on the left side, we have the date, and then we have beneath it another date. I understand what you're going for, but it's a little bit confusing. I think you should probably simplify this and maybe just mention it underneath here as a subtitle, the dates that you were employed or whatever. All right, what does everybody think this person should get for a rating? Hopefully I was able to, I definitely gave some tips that I think this person would definitely help, would be helped with. For me, not too many horrible things are happening, just some issues with clutter a bit. I'll go ahead and give this one, this is a tough one. I'm teetering on the edge of a couple things. I'll say like a 6.9, 6.8, or 7 or so. Just somewhere in that ballpark. I think that's fair. Because I do like the colors. There's some decent white space all around. Some areas are a little bit cluttered and scales off in some areas, but overall it's pretty decent. All right, next up. Who is next? First design project. All right, Nike Shop redesign. All right. I like the sort of, you know, two different hue gradient approach here, and how they're coming out like in a 3D sense. I'm not really certain where an actual UI is. I guess right here. I understand you're going for a certain aesthetic with the thick, bold borders here. Not sure if I'm too much of a fan of it. The whole monochrome approach with these borders here might make it a little bit more difficult to use than necessary. Also not sure this description text here really fits too well with the headlines right here, as they're definitely two different types of fonts, and one is really extended and the other one's not so much. This isn't too bad right here. Overall, not too bad. Let's do a rating, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? Oh, wow. Thank you for the 2 super chats that just came in. We'll get to you here in a second. For me, yeah, I have to agree. I'm going to agree with the person who said around a 6.5 to a 7 or so, or in the middle there, around 6.7 or so. Let's find out who is next. Jacob. Jacob G. Thank you for the super chat. Can you review this website I made for a client? Yes, I can. All right. Yeah, when it comes to the cookie thing, I wouldn't overlay it on top of your logo. I would put that at the bottom. Let's just say accept though. Let's refresh. All right. What does this do? So this is redundant here because we have begin, philosophy, services, masks, and contact, but then we have contact, services, building cleanings, about us, and philosophy. So it's like you're mixing up the items here, like, because a few of these exist in this one. So I would really rethink that, especially at this resolution. You have enough room to put them all so that you don't need a hamburger menu. Outside of that, probably need to work a little bit on the typography here in the middle. Can we bold it? All right, we made it bold. Font size, not that big. 1.5 M units. And then I'm not sure what's happening to the width here. Oh, is this oh, Elementor? Okay, that's why there's a lot of markup here. Because as you can see, we hover over this, there's like 1 million containers just for an H1 element, which is unfortunate. Because I would also extend the width of this a little bit more so that it's not so confined to being in the middle. Your call to action, request a quote, needs to be larger and also stand out more. You could probably make this a more vibrant green, possibly, but I just think it's a little bit too much of an afterthought. Just make it larger, and I think that would be a lot better. Scroll down, and it's a scroll hijack essentially, which it was done pretty well in my opinion. This is a lot of movement. If possible, I would try to slow down the playback of that so it's really catching my eye like crazy. Let's see here. Probably work on the white space between these three areas. Push this text up closer to the headline, because they feel a little bit discombobulated, if that makes sense. Next up, way too small, like office cleaning, practice cleaning, like that's a way too small type, especially for this large. I'd figure out another way to lay these out as well, because just put them all on one line. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, you could easily break that up into 2 rows or 3 rows even. This part's not too bad. Might want to go a little bit lighter. Let's see here. Tad bit lighter like that. I kind of like that a little bit better. You can still see that there's a, you know, an outline here, but it's not too dark. That's just a small gripe though. Push this down, the learn more button down a little bit more, because that was all cluttered up. All right. What does, yeah, and I would completely left align all this text. What do you think this person should get for a rating here? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Yeah, left align all this. One thing I would do if you're going to hijack the scroll like that is having like a vertical nav like area right here, because me trying to get back to the top is a little bit frustrating. All right, so for me on this one, again, I'm not going to go, I don't think I'm going to quite go with 7. Again, we're getting a lot of 6s here. Probably like around a 6.5 or so. It just seemed like there's a lot of inconsistency with how things were applied, but definitely some good things happening as well. All right, there was another. This was a big guy super chat here. Long time Discord Robinell. Thank you very much. All right. First ever school project, would love some feedback on it. Tried to make it fairly responsive for an XD project. All right. So this is a first time project. One thing, I would get rid of this. It looks like, it appears as though there's like a gray, like 1 or 2 pixel border around that red button. I would completely get rid of that. Also make this bold so it's not so thin. That way it really stands out more. I do like the type right here in the associated icons, although this one is filled in and these ones aren't, so that creates an issue of consistency. So try to use either outline icons or filled icons for all 3. This part here, not too bad. I'd probably make these white, the $600 or the $399 or whatever, so that they stand out quite a bit more. Next up, I'm not sure if I would use red for this big block here. I like the, you know, trying to be different and unique with the layout, but I would probably make it white or lighter, or a very light version of this background. Just because I think it's too big of like a red blob, if you know what I mean. Probably want to deal with this a little bit better and not have these borders all over. Maybe kind of structure it a little bit differently. For this like search right here, this magnifying glass, it needs more white space on the top for sure. All right, what does everybody think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Oh, we got glass morphism occurring here. Look at that. It is a little strange. It looks like there's a watermark up here. I can barely see. So I probably want to work on that because it's just I can barely see what's happening. All right, people are rating this one pretty low. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I definitely don't think it's a 3. It's definitely higher than a 3. You know, again, I could probably have no problem giving this like a like a 5.9 or even a 6 or more. Yeah, not bad. All right, who's up next? I know we have a few of these. Who right here? Okay, Veno crazy. Hey, by the way, no more super chats. I'm gonna be concluding in about 10 minutes. So let's see here. Portfolio site under development. There we go. The these type of backgrounds. I forget what do you call these backgrounds? The Vertis 3D backgrounds. All right. Looking at this. This feels more like a layout that you would have for a service. Like some sort of. It doesn't really feel like the type of layout you would use for like a personal portfolio. It looks like somebody's profile, like on a gaming network. So I'm not entirely sure I would go this approach. Just because of this sidebar primarily. Because like your front end skills, all this stuff, people might not even look at this stuff over here because it's kind of confusing. It almost looks like a navigation here as well, the way it's designed on a sidebar. So I might want to rethink this a little bit. In terms of what's happening here, make the name larger, maybe make it this color to further separate it out in this area. These are real tiny. The type here and all this is not too bad. Let's see if can I click anywhere else? Okay, I see what's happening. These are pretty good thumbnails, the way you've presented them. Look at that glass morphism taking effect. Yeah, it's actually something that I didn't think glass morphism would catch on. Like new morphism definitely didn't catch on. That was only for dribble. But looks like glass morphism is becoming more of a thing. And it's not too bad if it's done right. All right. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even see this up here. See, that's way too much of an afterthought. You know, you want to make this stuff more visible. And plus, on this larger resolution, of course, you only have 4 links here. You don't need an extra click up here. All right. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think? Let's see here. Design-wise, it's not too bad. I mean, it looks like it has a certain aesthetic that he's going for that I think he pulled off pretty decently. But in terms of the UX and the structure of everything, it's a little bit worse in my opinion. So for me, I'm going to give this a rating of, yeah, I mean, again, we're getting so many 6s today. It's not even funny, but I don't know. Yeah, I think around 6 is not too bad. All right. Next up, we had another super chat. Let me make sure I get everybody. Yep, we got them. And then here's the last one. No more super chats, by the way. Clayton is the username. All right, now that's a headline I like right off the bat. I would push it down a little bit more. Yes, I would. Just a tad bit. Let's refresh to see if there's any type of there's slight animation. All right. Hi, I'm Clayton, UI UX designer focused on building digital products. Check out my work. I might make it this color by default. So I'm not sure if I would have it, like if you're gonna have the primary call to action, check out my work, I would probably put it right here so that you're not scrolling past all this stuff, because the other person, because when that happens, that auto scroll, it's like, what is all this stuff it's scrolling past? And I'm gonna have to scroll back up to look at it. So I might just make it immediately underneath this, possibly. The man, the myth, the designer. Oh man. Let's change this. I would change that to not being red. I would also probably make it bold, which there's no bold font for that, unfortunately. It's a little strange having these two elements centered, but then this one and this one left aligned. So if you're gonna, I would center all of these as well if you're gonna do that. These should be centered, these two elements too. I might want to adjust the type here. Maybe like right that. Also the line height. Font size. Yeah, like 0.85 M units based on where it's currently at. So if you, now it seems less cluttered compared to this. Just a small adjustment in the type I think would be a good improvement on what's happening here. Using the red type for the features or whatever, or the tags, I wouldn't do that. It usually means danger, like I said before. All right, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think this person should get? For me, I mean, yeah, I have no problem probably giving this one like a 6.9 or 7. I think most agree here anyhow, so it's pretty solid. And with that said, I think that was our last super chat. Yes, we'll do one more regular one underneath. I think this was the next person in line. And we definitely have some work here to do. All right. Let's check it out. All right. All right. What I do, I'm a full stack web developer. Besides web apps, I also make automation scripts. All right. So this needs to be emphasized more so. You have a lot of empty space here, 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 here. It seems very disconnected. I wouldn't use this picture right here. Try to use something more professional if you're going to have a picture. Probably flip these too. Like what I do and all this stuff should be right here, and that picture should be over here. About me, again, beef up that size here. Font size is 1.7 rem units, and the width should be, wait, I didn't want that to happen. There we go. I wouldn't structure this markup like that either, by the way. With like width of 230 pixels because they're absolute values. You shouldn't even have to put a width here. Just use padding inside of this parent container for that. And then that way, it's always gonna work. Outside of that, this is all right. So we have inconsistent application of the alignment for the text. So we have something left align here, and then we have this over here in the middle. So it throws off the flow of the layout big time. Right here, these should be white backgrounds, or at least lighter. Where's the background here? See how much better that looks, in my opinion? That's a big improvement from, let me refresh, that. Need more white space, like margin top. At least that's a little bit better. That way it's not so like squished together. Yeah, and you're gonna want to use floating labels or actual labels as well for accessibility. All right, for a rating, what does everybody think this person should get? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I am starving. Oh my God. For me, yeah, we're going to give this one a, I mean, there's some areas that aren't too bad. Like, I mean, there's just some things that are incorrectly applied. I think for me on this one, I might give a, let's see, like a 5.8 to a 6 or so. Yeah. And so that will almost do it for the show. Make sure you check out the sponsor. Click the top link in the description to check out porkbun.com, which will give you a free .design domain name today to showcase your designs. Of course, if you're a UI, UX designer or front-end developer, it makes a lot of sense. So this free design domain of your choice also comes with a free Who Is Privacy, free SSL certificates, a free hosting trial, and a free email trial. And in addition, Porkbun now offers completely free WordPress hosting and static hosting options. Plus, you get mind-blowing free support. So definitely take advantage of the offers right here. Obviously, supporting the sponsor also supports me to notify people, usually like 20 or 30 minutes before the live stream. That way you guys get in quickly and enter your submissions before the live stream begins. All right, everybody. I will see you guys all soon. And yeah, see you next, probably Friday.